Hey guys, welcome to the Start Your Fashion Business channel. My name is Stephanie and I'm the host of this channel. In today's video, I'm not going to talk about something related to fashion business. I want to share with you how you can quarantine in Bali, Indonesia, and what my experience is like so far, because I just finally got back to Indonesia and thankfully, now you can quarantine in Bali, which is amazing. I'm not sure if you guys saw my video last year where I quarantined in Jakarta. Well, a lot has changed since then, so I want to give you guys an update in case you guys are interested to come to Indonesia, or specifically if you're interested to come to Bali, because there's so many amazing things to do here and amazing clothing manufacturers too. This is obviously where I'm based, where I've started my brand, where I have my clothing manufacturing company as well, and I'll pop all of those links in the description box below so you can check it out as well. But again, this video is going to be dedicated to quarantining in Bali, so let's get into it. So anyways, I was in Europe and I was there for supposedly, well, 1 month, but then had to extend my trip because I got the big C and I was testing positive for almost 6 weeks, which was obviously devastating, because the thing is, if you want to travel to Indonesia, you have to have a negative PCR test or you cannot board the flight. So even if you are recovered from, the big C, but you're still testing positive, you basically cannot fly to Indonesia. So I had to basically keep extending my flight. Originally, I was supposed to fly into Jakarta because at the time, Bali International Airport, it was open since October, but no flights were basically coming in. And then in early February or something around those dates, there was an announcement that they were going to be accepting some international flights, such as Garuda Indonesia and Singapore Airlines. So I was basically waiting for the date that that flight would appear, and coincidentally, around that time, I also tested negative. So all in all, it was a blessing in disguise that I was testing positive for many weeks. And ultimately, because of that, I was able to fly directly into Bali instead of going via Jakarta. So this is obviously like a game changer, because before, all international flights had to go through Jakarta, and I believe there was also another airport. But again, I can't speak based on experience, because the last time I quarantined, I did do that through Jakarta. And this time I was also flying from Zurich, Switzerland. And thankfully, Singapore Airlines had, this flight that would then transit in Singapore and fly direct to Bali. So I couldn't believe it when I booked it. I was definitely anticipating that maybe they would cancel it, because it was literally the first Singapore Airlines flight that was going to land in Bali after 2 years, which is just crazy. So I boarded that flight from Zurich on February 15th. And let's just go through the process first so you guys know what to expect when you are going to come to Indonesia. And obviously, these are the rules as of today, and today is February 18th, 2022. Again, these rules are always changing, so if you're watching this video a little later, just make sure to fact check everything, check like the requirements at the embassy and with your airline. But as of today, there's only 2 airlines that fly into Bali, which is Garuda Indonesia, that's like an Indonesian airline, and Singapore Airlines. So what we needed, all the documents that we basically had to show upon check-in, it was like an extensive list. So like I mentioned, you have to have a negative PCR test, and also I had to show my COVID vaccine certificate. So those are already 2 things. And then my visa, which I have something called a kitas. And again, I'm not a visa expert, so I'm not going to be going deep into what type of visa you need. This is obviously something that you have to check as well. So those are the 3 documents so far. And on top of that, I also had to show the hotel booking confirmation. This is really important because they want to see that you have your hotel booked for the quarantine. And I also had to show like this barcode that you register on something called the Peduli Lindung app. and it's called an e-hack barcode. So this is really important. It basically shows that, you know, you've registered with the Indonesian government, what flight you're on, like when you're coming, where you're quarantining, so they can monitor like all the travelers coming into the country. Now, on top of that, they also asked for an insurance. Now, thankfully, the hotel, that was all included, and I think it's because I have kitas. So again, all of these documentation could vary for you, but all I know is that for sure you do have to show your negative PCR, your COVID certificate, your COVID vaccine certificate, your hotel booking confirmation for the quarantine, as well as your e-hack. So anyway, it took us like 30 minutes to check into the flight, and even the ground staff, they were kind of having trouble because, you know, they had to make sure that they go through this checklist, and even they got really, really confused. So make sure that you have enough time at the airport to do so. So anyways, the flight itself was obviously really, really smooth, and I mean, I love Singapore Airlines, they're really good. And then we landed in Singapore, and then we had a 3-hour transit. So I'm not going to talk about my experience there because then this video is going to be really, really long. But anyways, we transited there, and then we basically got into this other part of the airport, and there were just a lot more passengers. So I think like people from LA, people from Germany, like people from all over the place, they were flying in and boarding this one flight to go to Bali. And so this was basically the first flight in 2 years, which is insane. And I think like, I mean, it looked like there was a lot of people when we were like at the boarding hall. But yeah, when we got into the plane, I think it was like 35% full. So it wasn't full at all. Like there were rows with just like one person or two people. You know, when we landed, the pilot said that there's a tradition where, you know, they want to welcome Singapore Airlines with like a water cannon thing. I've never experienced that before, but it was really, really cool. And we got into the terminal, and it was quite emotional because, you know, all the staff and like everybody was really welcoming, because again, you know, there hasn't been a Singapore Airlines flight that landed in Bali in the past 2 years, since basically the beginning of the pandemic. So yeah, it was a very emotional experience, and you know, like there was a lot of press as well taking photos and everything. I mean, even we got on like an article in the South China Morning Post or something like that. So yeah, like there was a lot of people getting pulled, you know, like away for interviews. Thankfully, not me and my boyfriend. But yeah, it was like this whole big commotion. But yeah, let's talk about kind of the steps that we went through when we landed in the airport. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to show your e-hack, which is that barcode thing, so that they can make your PCR appointment. Because when you land, now you don't do the PCR at the hotel. That's what I did last time when I was in Jakarta, but now they do it in the airport. So this is like a new procedure, I guess, that they've been doing for maybe a few months. So yeah, you basically show your e-hack, and then you get this like printed receipt, and then you show it to another checkpoint, and then they will take you to a room where like the medical staff will take your PCR test. So that process like took maybe about 15 minutes, and then after you do that, that's when you do the usual like immigration, baggage pickup, and customs. Now when you walk out of the terminal, usually like that's where you would then leave, you know, take your go-kart or whatever, but now there's like a checkpoint where they basically ask you what hotel are you staying at. So then you have to show like your confirmation again, and then they'll call somebody from the hotel to basically arrange for the pickup at the pickup bay. So we had to wait there as well for like maybe 10 minutes. And then after that, we were escorted. And there's one last checkpoint where they ask you again, either for your passport or that barcode certificate receipt that you received at the first checkpoint. So make sure that you don't lose that. But that basically is for them to verify your identity. So they want to make sure that you are you and that you are now being picked up by somebody from the hotel. So I think it took us around like an hour or so, like since we landed, for all of that to be done. I think the longest part was waiting for our baggage. So we walk out to this like pickup bay, and there was like a ton of big like Bluebird buses, and all had like an area like Ubud, Sanur, Nusa Dua, depending on like which quarantine hotel, like where it's located. Thankfully our hotel had like a minibus pickup, so it wasn't like a huge bus. And funnily enough, they even organized a police escort. So there was this one police guy driving in the front of our mini bus and like escorting us all the way through, which was really cool because it ended up being like maybe a 10-minute ride from the airport. But we're also staying in Jimbaran, which is, I think, next to the airport. You can say that. So yeah, by the time we got to the hotel to check in, we were waiting in line with two other couples, and they already had all of our details anyway. And this is really important, and I should also explain this to you guys. I guess I should backtrack a little bit. So when you are booking your flight, after you book the flight, you have to book your quarantine hotel. You can't just like land in Bali and then book your hotel. So you have to organize all of this before and make sure that you have your negative PCR, because the hotel also wants to see that. And we booked it through this website, which is like the official Bali hotel quarantine website. And I'll pop it in the description box below as well, so you guys can check that out. And you'll see all of these different hotel options from like 3 stars to 5 stars, as well as non-bubble versus a bubble hotel. Now, what is a non-bubble hotel? That is basically a hotel where you have to stay in your room. So you would quarantine inside your room. You cannot leave. You can't really like go outside. Whereas a bubble hotel, you can make use of the facilities of the hotel, which is really, really cool. So I'll go into how that looks like in a little bit. In our experience right now, it's actually really, really cool. We decided to, you know, like take up this experience because like this bubble hotel obviously allows you to like walk outside and do a bunch of activities. So again, like you can choose between these two options now in Bali, which is just like really, really cool, because quarantining, especially like, you know, a longer quarantine, it's quite, you know, it can get quite claustrophobic if you just have to stay in your room. So make sure that you book this before. And again, like you can check the hotels in the website below. There's so many different ones, different options, different locations, different prices. We chose a 5-star hotel because we just wanted to stay somewhere really, really nice and comfortable. So we chose the Ayana Resort in Jimbaran, which is a bubble hotel. And I believe there's around 5 bubble hotels, but again, they might be adding on to that list. So anyways, we checked in, and we just had to basically like give our details and pay the rest of our stay. And yeah, that process took so fast. And when we were actually like in line, we got the PCR test result as well, and it was negative, so that's cool. So that PCR test result also came quite quickly, so I was really surprised about that. And then yeah, we checked into our room, and it's just so nice. I mean, it's a 5-star hotel, so it's obviously very comfortable, and we have a balcony with this amazing view over the golf course. And the, you know, bathroom has a bathtub, and like it's just got all the comforts. And the cool thing, like I said, it's a bubble hotel, so we are able to roam around because they closed a part of the hotel just for quarantine guests. So you can basically go to the pool, you can go to the gym, you can go do yoga, you can even go down and like catch a sunset. They have all of these amazing activities. So this was part of the reason why we booked this hotel, obviously, and also because last time when we were quarantining in Jakarta, we wanted to stay at the Ayana in Jakarta because we heard that the food was really, really amazing. And obviously food is another important like aspect when you're quarantining. Like you want the food to be good because you cannot order food from outside. So make sure as well when you're booking the hotel, you just send them a WhatsApp or email them and ask for their food menu, and like make sure that you like the food, or if you have any special like dietary preferences, that they can accommodate that. We were so excited when we booked the hotel and they sent us this list of activities, and it was like, you know, morning yoga, blessing ceremony, like sunset picnic, and there was just so many activities. But you do have to pre-book it before, and that's completely fine because I like to actually schedule out my day anyway. But I was like, I'm not gonna get any work done here. I'm just gonna be like relaxing. And the funny thing is, they call it a warm-up vacation package, and it really is like a vacation from your vacation. I mean, in our case, we're coming home, so it's not like we're coming to Bali to vacation. But for you guys that are coming to Bali for a holiday, then it's like a mini holiday before you actually start your holiday. So that's really, really cool. So I really highly recommend this place, and I've been getting a lot of like questions from my TikTok account as well. And by the way, you guys should follow me on TikTok and follow me on Instagram if you want daily fashion business tips. So I've been like holding off on sharing the name of the hotel on my TikTok account, especially because, you know, I'm still here. I wasn't gonna share it until I check out. But by the time you guys watch this video, I'm already back home. So yeah, I'm gonna do like a bit of a Q&A because so many of you guys have been asking me like where I'm staying and all of that. So the first question is, hi, may I know if we are allowed to leave our room and explore the hotel in our quarantine, like the pic you showed here? So the answer is yes. If you choose a bubble hotel, then you can roam around like inside of the bubble zone. So this hotel has like a bubble zone and a non-bubble zone, so we can roam around within those boundaries basically. But like I said, we also have to pre-book our activities, so you can't just like, you know, show up to the activity. They need to know where you're at. Question number 2, hey, is it a 3-day only for the quarantine? Well, as of now, we're quarantining here for 4 nights and 5 days. So when we first landed, that was like the requirement, but then that afternoon, or no, yesterday afternoon, I got a text saying like, if I wanted to leave, I could because I'm boosted. So if you have the booster, it's only gonna be 2 nights, but I actually enjoy staying here. So I said, I'll stay the original booking. I don't wanna leave yet, so we're gonna stay back. And who knows, by the time you watch this video, there might not even be a quarantine, hopefully. So like I said, make sure to check all of the requirements before you book your travels because it's always changing. Question number 3, welcome home. May I ask how much you pay for quarantine and which hotel? So right now we are paying around 13.5 million, which is close to like $1,000 US. And we're paying that for 2 people quarantining at the Ayana Jimbaran Resort, which is a bubble hotel. And that's for 4 nights and 5 days. And it includes all meals, it includes 2 pieces of laundry per person every day. It also included 2 PCR tests per person. And what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So it's actually not that bad because it is a 5-star hotel. Like I said, you know, for us, it's just really worth it. But of course, like there's hotels that are cheaper. So definitely check out the link that I put in the description box below for all the options for different quarantine hotels. Question number 4, hi dear, mind sharing the procedure from Singapore to Bali? So the procedure from Singapore to Bali for us was quite simple because we had everything under one booking. So if you are coming from outside of Singapore, you have to book it all under one itinerary and then transit in Changi Airport. But yes, the procedure, we just followed everything that they told us. And yeah, it was definitely a little bit different than in Europe because in Singapore, you're not allowed to roam around in the airport. So when you land, they give you like a green like band and then they'll take you to the transfer hall. And then there you kind of have to wait. So you can't like shop in Changi, you cannot like roam around in like the main area. And then when the boarding is ready, they will call your group and then escort you from the transfer hall to the boarding hall, which for us was like the opposite side of the terminal. So we did walk through, but again, like you're not allowed to go into the shops. And then after you are about to enter the boarding hall, there's like a security checkpoint and all of that. And then you pass that and then basically that will be like the boarding hall for your flight. So that's kind of like the procedure, but again, it might be different for you if you are boarding directly from Singapore or checking in directly from Singapore. So last question, which hotel did you quarantine? So the hotel, again, I just want to iterate it, is called the Ayana Jimbaran Resort. It's really, really nice, and I highly, highly recommend it because it is a bubble hotel quarantine, and if you can, you know, experience a bubble hotel quarantine in Bali, then you should, because like I said, you can, you know, roam around, you can get fresh air, you can watch sunset and all of that, and like the food has been really, really amazing here. And today we're actually gonna have a sunset picnic, so I'm really excited about that. We have 2 more nights here, and yeah, like I'm just enjoying myself so much, and I'm beating the jet lag. So that's really, really nice, because I think if I were to just go home right away, it would just, you know, be a little bit different. Like here you can really relax, kind of settle into Bali, especially if you came from Europe or if you're coming from America. So yes, I highly recommend, if you don't stay in, you know, this hotel, find another bubble hotel. Again, there's a link below in the description box. So I hope that this video has been really helpful for you guys. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you can pop them below. And like I said, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my videos. And also follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you want more fashion business tips. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.